Robbie, thanks for letting us interrupt this session down here recording a new course. It's Rocktoberfest, and we've promised everybody a nice Q&A session with you. We've only got
Fantastic.
5 questions.
Okay.
The first is very appropriately coming in from WVG Man, who's asking, what is the nature of your next upcoming TrueFire project? So what are you doing right here, right now, that we're going to broadcast out to the world in a couple of months?
Okay, I'm really excited about it. It's a Trilogy course, and it's called Power Play. And the first one is Power Play Major, and it basically covers improvising over 8-bar chord progressions over a series of changes, though. So we've got 4 key changes using the major pentatonic, major scale, and Lydian mode. And it's going to be the supersonic chop builder of all time for you guitar players. So I'm really excited about that. And
Awesome. What level player do you think this would be good for?
you know, I think it's a beginner course through pro standard, quite honestly. If you're learning your new scale shapes, you can apply them over these backing tracks, and it's actually going to set you on a trajectory, I think, towards superstardom quicker than probably any other program that I've worked on. If you're a pro player, this is going to challenge you because you're going to be playing through the changes either in position on the fretboard or across the fretboard. And for a lot of guys, they might play great in, one place in one key, but can they, play through the changes and do it that way as well? So I think it's going to be a massive, massive course for everyone.
Cool. So just one more time, it's a trilogy. So
Yeah.
you're doing which one today, and then what's to follow?
Okay, Power Play Major is being filmed today, be the first release. And then we are doing Power Play Minor, which will cover all the minor scales. And then we're going to do the dominant one, so Power Play Dominant.
How do you think this series will kind of connect to the other courses you've done, like Sweet Notes or Solocraft or Rhythmcraft? Is there some connectivity? Are they good companion courses?
Absolutely. Well, Sweet Notes obviously is, I think, one of the key things that you should learn as a guitar player. And you're applying that to Power Play. I mean, there's no difference between any of my courses. They all revolve around, or resolve if you like, around Sweet Notes. I mean, if you don't hit a sweet note, it doesn't matter what techniques you use, right, or scales. You've got to resolve. So this really is a challenging course for those players that have worked through my previous material. You can use your solo techniques, you can use your sweet notes, you can use any of those tools and keys for power play. But if you're just starting out too, you can still practice those new things over these backing tracks and this, program that I've put together. I think it's the logical progression from all of my courses.
Well, I can tell you it sure is sounding good to all of us here at TrueFire.
Thank you.
The improvisational workouts, there's a lot of those in this course.
Yeah.
They sound great.
Thank
And
you.
you're right, Sweet Notes, everything does revolve and resolve around Sweet Notes. Very appropriately said. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, our next question comes in from Just Me. And he says, Robbie gets such great tone and sound. What type of gear is he using now? And pays you a compliment, says you get great tone and sound no matter what gear you're using. But we're always excited to see what you bring into the studio. There's always a few regulars in your pedal board.
Yeah.
But what are you playing lately, and how are you shaping, your sound these days?
Okay. I think the fundamental thing is the person. So start there. That's how I look at my sound. If I'm not creating it with this or how I feel about things, then none of the gear matters. However, if then you couple that with good stuff, I think it really makes a difference. So my rig here at TrueFire, I'm using my trusted old Marshall JMP1 preamp. I've had it 18 years. I run a TC Electronic GeForce in the loop of that, and we DI it direct into the board, and it always sounds wicked. I use it at home for my sessions in Nashville. Some cool new things. The Jetta pedals are fabulous. You know, the GS124 is fantastic. It's kind of the Dumble clone overdrive pedal. And the gold standard's really, really good. But I don't change my gear that much, and I'm not, and I hate to say it, a knob tweaker. I don't do that. What I do is I set my gear and leave it. And you'll never see me like tweaking anything. You get your tone from here. This is where I get it.
And the
Yeah,
guitar,
so-
tell us a little bit about the guitar and other guitars you might be playing at the
Okay.
moment.
This guitar is made by Will Kelly, who works for Vintage Guitar Magazine. It's a hard knock Strat, and definitely is hard knocked. But he made this for me, but for the cover of his book, which is all about, you know, building guitars and stuff like that. But he made it to look new, and I just said to him, no, we've got to beat it up, you know. So we did. Love it. I mean, it just feels comfortable. It resonates beautifully, and that's another thing that you should think about for your tone. Any guitar you pick up, I always do this. I just acoustically hold it, and I feel the resonance in the body and the neck. And if it's resonating, it's probably going to be good plugged in. So I think about those things. Sliders pickups, they're hand wound in Australia by a guy called Rod, and it just sounds great. It plays great. It feels good. And I think as well, if you're comfortable with something, I think if you can sit on your couch or anywhere with a guitar and you forget you're holding it, it's probably a good guitar for you, you know. That's the way I look at it. So, yeah, good resonance. And Will, thank you so much. This is wicked.
We've had actually quite a few guys asked about string gauge. Which string gauge do you prefer to use and why?
Okay, I'm using 9 to 40s, and these are the balanced tension D'Addario strings. I have tendon and neural problems, so I have to be really careful how much I play. So my whole thing is I don't want to fight the guitar, I want to play it. And if that means I've got to have light gauge strings, well then that's what I do. I do think you lose a little bit of tone by the lighter gauge. 10s sound phenomenal to me, you know, but I can't move them. So make that the priority, because if you can't move them, you're not saying anything. But yeah, 9 to 40s, it's good. And again, you know, they're kind of slinky. I can bend them and stuff. D'Addario, actually, I want to tell you guys about this. I don't know if you've tried them, but the new New York strings, the NY strings, they're actually been formulated so that you can keep bending them without breaking them. So if any of you are interested, give them a shot.
This one comes in from IB Nez, and actually we got probably more than a couple of dozen questions very similar to this. IB Nez says, realizing that the technical aspect weighs heavily on this question, but on average, how much time should you give to learning a new concept? How do you determine when to move on to the next concept? So I think what they're all asking is, you know, if they were working with any of your courses or any course for that matter, at what point should you move on to the next new learning thing in that course?
Oh boy. Okay, loaded question, but I'll keep it as simple as possible. I don't think you should ever move on from them. I read a great book recently called Zen Guitar, and the guy says you should be a perpetual white belt. And what he means by that is you continue learning. So any concept, what I got from that is any concept you're never going to be a master at. And he says, and even if you become a master, you should wear the belt so much that the black comes off and it becomes white again. So to me, I loved that because I thought to myself, all right, pentatonic scales. All right, should you just go, well, I got that. Now I'm going to move on to this and this. And I go, well, power of 5. Look at what that does. And then you go intervallic lines within pentatonics. And it never ends. And I find new licks and I go, how come I didn't play that 5 years ago? And I just find that what you should do is I think you should understand a concept. If it resonates with you, keep working on it. And I always say to people, don't work on things you don't dig. It's a waste of time, you know. Work on concepts that resonate with you, that are things that will help you speak on your instrument. Anything other than that is a waste, I think. That's my personal opinion. And if you said to me, what do I sit down and practice? I sit down and practice my courses so that they're great for you guys. Other than that, write songs, make music, play, enjoy. But I don't want to waste time on things I don't dig. There's not enough time.
Awesome. Next one comes in from Guitar K, and he asks, he says, your rhythm tracks on the courses sound great. Do you record those live in the studio? How do you go about producing them?
Okay.
So,
Okay. First of all, concept-wise, I go, well, what is it I'm trying to put together? So I always have a clear picture of what's going down. I record them at home. I say home. I've got a reasonably nice studio set up at home. Nothing extravagant. Again, I buy the gear that I use, not the stuff that looks cool in the rack and then never gets used. So I've got good stuff. I use Logic, and so I'll have an idea of a chord progression, and I'll notepad it across a jam track, if that makes sense, like a drum groove or a loop. I find the right tempo for it. And from there, what I do is I put the notepad idea of the guitar part down, and I flesh it out from there. And then what I do is I layer in a second guitar part, and I pan them. Might put some acoustic guitar behind that. Best part of tracking for me is playing bass. I love playing bass. Takes me out of this realm, and I don't know what it is, but I seem to have a natural bent towards creating bass lines. To me, a great bass line is one you don't hear. You're not going, what's that note there, If you're not listening to the bass, but you're feeling it, you played the right thing. That's the way I look at it. So I listen very intently after I've played these ideas to go, all right, is anything getting in the way? Is the orchestration correct? And especially if it's playing them for you guys to play over, is it giving you notes that you can land on? Like, is it giving you sweet notes to hit? There's no good me playing dyads all over the place and there's no sweet notes, right? So I play complex chords. I think about it. Like if I'm saying to you, play major pentatonic over a chord progression, I'm going to put the 6 and the 9 in there for you, right? So you can hit them. Makes you feel good because you're hitting good notes. So think about that, even if you're writing songs, the more chord tones you put in something, the more melody notes you've got. That's the way I look at it. So I think very musically, when I put tracks together, it's not like, well, let's just bang down a 1-4-5. No, think about it and orchestrate. So simple gear, thoughtful ideas, musical ideas, and I don't think you can argue with that. Do you know what I mean? So.
I certainly won't argue with that. Here's your last question,
Okay.
and it's actually, I think we received more questions similar to this one than any other topic. Basically, folks are asking that are, many of them are new to TrueFire and new to your library of courses. You have really a vast library, rhythm craft, solo craft, sweet notes. You do a whole series on, modes. What course would be the best place to start, within the Robbie Calvo franchise? Where should they start?
Okay, I've been asked.
And why?
Okay. I've been asked that a lot, actually. I get lots of emails. Bought all of your courses when they came on sale. Where do I start? And I go, oh boy. Here's what I tell people. Sweet Notes is the ultimate foundation. Like I said, you can learn all your scales, all your chords and all that stuff. And I know guys that do, and they still resolve to the wrong places. So it doesn't matter what you learn in front of Sweet Notes. If you learn Sweet Notes and grasp the concept, great place to start. Okay, even if you play 2 notes but your resolution point's right, You know, you got a 50% chance, really, haven't you? Unless they're both sweet notes. But I say start there. I think that's the most powerful course, and probably the reason I put it together first and filmed it first. It seemed logical to me. However, here's the other thing that I tell guys. TrueFire is a wonderful resource. They allow you to go in there and watch free content. So I say watch content, realize what it is you need, and then get that. You know, you might have your sweet notes down, but you haven't any idea about the modes. So your sweet notes aren't applicable if you don't know what a tonal center is. Does that make sense? So I've learnt my sweet notes, but I don't know what resolving to the 2 chord and the major key is. All right, well now you pick up a modal course, and does that make sense? So watch content, understand and be honest with yourself what you need, and then go from there.
I think I would have bet that would have been the answer, and you're right. It's why we did film it first here.
Right.
And I'll add on for anybody that hasn't yet dug into the courses. All of those courses do connect to the Sweet Notes philosophy in one way or another. So, you know, that is the exact recommendation we make to our students when we don't have Robbie Calvo in the studio. That we can kidnap for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
We're really excited about Power Play and the whole series, so I'll let you get back at it.
Thank
you. You know, rock on this month and Rocktoberfest here at TrueFire.
Thank you. Can I just shout out too?
Sure.
I want to thank all the guys on the forum. They're wonderful. They've helped me a lot. They guide me to guide them and the other guys. Everyone here at TrueFire is always phenomenal, very welcoming, professional, and you know, if you've got friends out there that play guitar, tell them about this place, because we're filming amazing things for you guys, and you know, if we can put a smile on your face by making you better, you know, it's a good day. So thank you all.
Thank you, Robbie.
You're welcome.
Later, man.
Thank you.